Was it self-defense or murder because of a scam? That's the answer that Ohio jurors are going to be faced with. Day 2 of testimony happening in Ohio for the Killing the Messenger murder trial. The defendant is William Brock. He's 83 years old, and what he did is captured on dash cam video. He confronted an Uber driver, Lo-Letha Hall, at gunpoint and then shot her 4 times. But investigators say he feared for his life. The investigation found that Hall was sent to Brock's home by scammers. They were demanding money. Hall, though, wasn't aware of the scam. She was an Uber package delivery driver who had been contacted through the app. Now, during opening statements, the defense says that William Brock was reasonably convinced he was about to be hurt if he didn't comply with the demands. But the prosecution that is bringing these charges against him say the shooting is inexcusable because he wasn't dealing with an immediate threat. So let's look at today's best evidence. This is what our court of opinion team chose as number 1 today, the dash cam footage of William Brock shooting Lo-Letha Hall. That was shown to jurors today. Brock is heard telling Hall to give him her phone. Hall then pleads with him to stop, and then you hear those gunshots. This is disturbing. We do want to show you, though, because it is very important testimony and evidence in front of the jury.
Stop. Stop. Or I'll call 911. Stop.
No, you're not leaving.
Hi.
No, you're not. You're not leaving in my home.
Stop.
Give me that phone.
Stop.
Give me it.
Stop.
Give me it.
Help! Help! Help!
Give me
Help!
the phone.
Help!
I'll shoot the other way.
Help!
Come on, get out.
Help! Sir!
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick up a cat.
Yes. I know what you're after. You're after the...
Help! Help!
I'll shoot you in the head.
Don't do that, please. Don't, sir. Please
Who do
don't.
you work for?
Over. It's right up there. You can see it. You can see it. You can look, sir. Please. Just look.
Well, hold the property.
Right here.
Heartbreaking evidence in front of this jury, but we want to know, where does it stand when it comes to criminal liability for the defendant that's sitting inside of the courtroom? Let's bring back in our guest panel. We have with us Molly Palmer, David Schipper, and Amelia Ravello. Molly, let me start with you. That evidence, it is so hard to watch, but it outlines what the prosecution needs to prove in this case. I mean, if they didn't have this video, we might be looking at a very different prosecution.
Yeah, it's awful. I mean, it's really hard to watch. But I wonder about what the jurors are thinking in terms of what is in the defendant's mind. And that's what they're tasked with analyzing, right? And so they must be thinking, well, he believes that he's, being scammed out of this money. He owes this money. He's going to be killed if he doesn't pay it. They're probably also thinking, well, where are these scammers? We know that Miss Hall is not the one who devised the scheme. So there is kind of a little bit of mystery around what the defendant was thinking, and that is the question before the jury, in addition to this really difficult evidence to watch. And there is that unanswered question. Where are the people behind the scam?
The empty seats. And a lot of people have encountered scammers. David, they've dealt with someone who's called them, has demanded money, and we don't know what these jurors have experienced, but they may be thinking about that through this, the fear that you can sometimes get thinking that it might be true.
I mean, this whole thing is just bizarre. I mean, first of all, it's like a broad daylight. It's almost like he's in the front of his driveway. I mean, is there any other witnesses that saw this? You would think that other people saw this. He's 83. You probably could tell there's something not right with him, maybe. But was there any psychological testing? Was there any expert witnesses that, evaluated him? Because what I understand was the scammers allegedly said that his nephew was in jail and he needed to come up with $12,000, but that doesn't make sense because he could have just called the jail and found out, or held her at gunpoint and called the cops.
Called 911.
Public policy does not want vigilantism, right? You can't take the law into your own hands. And my colleague virtually was talking about imminent fear imminent harm. Well, any reasonable person is going to see that he was not in imminent harm. So the whole scamming thing to me is almost, it's relevant but not relevant. I mean, this poor Uber driver, you know, it's sad, and I wonder, Uber should be liable for this. I'm talking about a civil matter, that's a whole other story, but I can't see that what he did was so egregiously, disgustingly wrong that I'd be shocked if he's not convicted. But I don't think that he's all up there. There's something going on up there with him, his age, et cetera. And I assume that they're going to have expert witnesses that have evaluated him, and we'll see how it plays out.
We're going to see how it plays out. In answer to your question about Uber, the only thing publicly they've said about this is that they are giving everything they have to investigators, making sure that they are cooperating with this investigation. And there's actually a jury view that happened today. So these jurors got to go to that property, see everything in terms of the layout. And we understand this is them leaving for the day from the courthouse, but the actual area where they went, it's pretty rural. There's a lot of space around his house, so it could be why no neighbors immediately knew what was happening. Let's play, though, our second piece of evidence. We'll get to Amelia to get her take on this. This is the body camera footage of William Brock. So this is after everything has happened. He eventually does call 911, and he tells officers that there was a man on the phone who told him he needs bail money for his nephew. Let's listen to his reaction with police.
I'm sure glad to see you guys out here because I've been on this phone for a couple hours with this guy trying to save me. Had a nephew in jail and had a wreck in Charleston and just kept hanging on and needing bond money. And
are you injured anywhere?
just a little nick on the side there where she slammed the car door on me.
We didn't go inside your home.
Well, there's $12,000 of an envelope in there that I was supposed to take to Springfield.
Oh, Amelia, let's bring you in. This kind of evidence in front of a jury is huge. It's got his reaction to everything. He seems very calm, despite the fact he's been through this altercation and he shot a woman to death.
Yes, and this evidence is so hard to hear, and I can only imagine how hard it is for the jury to hear this evidence. But I will say I do think that this body cam footage helps the defense for sure, because it shows his mental state, right? It's all about whether or not his actions were reasonable and if he truly felt like he was justified in using force at the moment to stop, you know, an imminent harm. And even after he's in cuffs, it seems, he's saying, or detained rather by the police, he's saying, "I'm glad to see you guys here," meaning that he really was scared and he thought that he was doing the right thing. So I think that this definitely benefits the defense case, and it shows that his mental state, even after the incident took place, was still that he was justified in using force.
Molly, there's a moment in the first piece of evidence we showed during the actual shooting where he's telling Lo-Letha, "You're not leaving." She's trying to leave. He's saying, "No, you're not leaving, or I'll shoot you in the other leg." Is that where prosecutors need to focus on?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, a lot of times jurors are going to put themselves in the position of the defendant, and they're going to think, in this case, this woman is walking away. Do I have an imminent threat? Am I in such fear and apprehension of danger as somebody's walking away that it's reasonable for me to shoot to kill? Or is this a situation where I should let the woman just walk away? And jurors, again, are going to think, if I was in this situation, what would I do? And I think it's fair to say that for the most part, people would let the person walk away.
I want to quickly get to our third piece of evidence, because one person who did walk away from the scene but with injuries was William Brock. And here he is. The body camera footage was shown to the jury of police arriving while he's in the hospital. And he told officers about those scammers. They found $12,000 in an envelope in his house. Take a look.
Got real nasty with threats and stuff. Yeah. For long enough for her to drive out. And I said, "Well, where's she at?" He said, "Well, she's at your house now to get the money. And if you don't give the money, she's going to kill you."
You hear him say that his impression was that he was going to be killed?
Hey, David, you talked about thinking he may have some cognitive decline. What do you think about hearing him talk there in the hospital?
Well, I think my colleague said about his mental state, and again, going back what I said, I'm sure he's going to be evaluated. I'm sure there's going to have experts come and discuss, and explain to the jury that he really felt that he was in imminent fear. But at the end of the day, excuse me, is that reasonable? And just because he felt that way doesn't necessarily mean that it was.
Amelia, let me quickly get your take on this one, because is it almost dangerous? We know we don't have an insanity plea here or an insanity argument from the defense, but would that negate their self-defense claim? Do they want to say that maybe he didn't know what he was doing, or do they want to stick with, no, he felt like he was truly in fear of his life?
Excuse me for my call. Go ahead.
I'll be feeling better.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it definitely does. It's not mutually exclusive, right? He could have been justified in his mental state in doing that and felt like he was in reasonable fear of harm. And the jury could also gain sympathy for him by hearing about his cognitive abilities, right? If he's obviously an 83-year-old man, I mean, I'm sure everyone has grandparents or older folks in their life, and they know that as you get older, your abilities decline. So I think that they should play into that and let the jury know that, his mental abilities are declining. But he was still reasonable in the actions that he took at the time.